Flipped, a professional development program for higher degree supervisors and students. Welcome to this flipped professional development session on Academic Audiobooks. Hi, I'm Tara Brabazon. We did a flipped session on video abstracts and showed the way in which they lifted the profile, the readership and the citation of our articles. But I've got no doubt that the next big thing for academics is the recording of our monographs, long articles and short books as audiobooks. There are many reasons to record an audiobook version of your research, but the reason I'm recording this flipped session for you today is not only about new audiences and citation opportunities, but also a new income stream. And I'm going to talk about that today. So what is an academic audiobook, how you can record one, and how you can record it at reasonably low cost in your home, and how you can then upload it to an aggregator and receive an income stream from it. The precarious nature of the workplace, both inside and outside our universities, means that we have to think about alternative ways to create income. And this is one. So this is a win-win-win situation. You move your research onto a new platform, you're finding new audiences for your research, you increase your author profile and the awareness of your research, you lift the quality of public debates by enhancing the availability of high-quality materials, and you create an income stream. Yeah, let's do this. So what is an audiobook? An audiobook is a reading of a book. An unabridged audiobook refers to the complete text being read. An abridged version is obviously the cut-down version. It has a fascinating history. It became a thing in the 1930s, and like so many innovations and technologies, they were created to enhance the life of the visually impaired. So for blind children and adults, a talking book emerged. The American Foundation for the Blind and the Library of Congress established the Talking Books program. The test recordings emerged in 1932. And what was it? This is lovely. A chapter of Helen Keller's Midstream. And Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. They were the first audiobooks to be recorded. And it's interesting because it was a non-fiction and a fiction. That's important. These programs were extended after World War II, where veterans returned blind from the war, and of course they'd never learnt Braille. So audiobooks were important in this socialisation of the recently impaired after the Second World War. Okay, so they were created to enable and enhance the life of the blind. But with the 1970s and the proliferation of the audio cassette, the tape, the audience started to widen. Audiobooks became an industry standard term in 1994, the audiobook, and it was confirmed by the Audio Publishers Association. Okay, so audiobooks as a medium created a market for commercial audio, particularly for commuters and travellers, and they were emerging audiences even in these early years. Now, at this point, not surprisingly for the commuter, management and leadership titles started to dominate. By the mid-1990s, audio publishing was worth $1.5 billion, in the US alone. What then happened in the mid-1990s was the proliferation of the internet and then the World Wide Web. Then, of course, the iPod and iTunes created a brand new way to locate, download and listen to content. This was the moment. It also enabled disintermediation through the high quality availability of domestic software and hardware. So it became clear that we didn't need anybody else to create the content and upload it to an aggregator and find an income stream. And of course, this is where podcasting also began. It was realised a recording studio is not required, and home studios have proliferated from that period to this very day, and I'm recording in one now. So over the last 5 years, audiobooks have grown 20% per year in sales. There are many reasons for this growth, of course. The iPodification of our culture, the iPhoneification of our culture, the length of commutes, the desire to fill dead time either on public transport or in the care of other people, the different modes of leisure, including Fitbits and iWatches and their enabling walking cultures and new gym cultures, but also the desire to multitask, to do the housework or other tasks while listening. The demographic that's growing the fastest is, of course, men aged 25 to 44 who commute. But since the 1970s, that is the cassette-based audiobook period, truckies were some of the heaviest users of audiobooks. Now, for me, how great is this? These hard-working guys, and of course some hard-working women, doing these enormous drives, enabling our economy, and being kept company by an audiobook. This is brilliant. There are also new genres and platforms emerging. Just to give you one example from HarperCollins, their Story Castle delivers free audio content for children on a daily basis via Google Assistant. But also knowledge and skill development are booming areas for audiobooks. Someone wants to learn a skill or learn about a new area. Hello, let's download an audiobook. We as academics need to get into this space. We are experts, we have high quality content, we can do this. The key moment in the digital history of audiobooks is when Amazon purchased Audible. Now, audiobooks are listed on Amazon for purchase, and therefore audiobooks and an audiobook version can be viewed at the same time as all other titles, and it can be purchased and downloaded. Now, academics have been slower to move into this market, and it's not as if audiobooks are just fiction. They're certainly not, and as we've talked about in this history, from the right at the start, they weren't just fiction. Science, history, self-help, professional development are huge sellers. But part of it comes from the publishers we sign with, because audiobooks are so new that they're rarely part of an academic publisher's contract. Now, I've recorded 7 audiobooks. I've created what are called organic audiobooks, that is audio only. I have written them for audio. They are organic audiobooks, but also audiobook versions of my academic books. Now, publishers, interestingly enough, this may change, but publishers are happy for me to go for it. They know that audiobooks don't cannibalise the print or the ebook market. In fact, they enhance it. What happens is people buy audiobooks that would not have bought the ebook or the paperback, but once they like the content, they buy another version. So please have a good look at your academic book contract, and please don't sign the audiobooks away, right? Look at the contract, and if an audiobook is not mentioned, then you reply to that email, mention the audiobook rights overtly, and ask if it can be excluded from all the rights that you're giving to the publisher, right? And that's important. And it's amazing how often academic publishers will say, yeah, we'll waive the audio rights. They can return to you. Important. Ask. I also want to make a quick and pretty unexpected point about Audible Australia. There is a market for Australian writers and Australian voices. Now, I always worry, as someone who's sort of lived overseas most of my professional life, I always worry about how international audiences feel about listening to our voices. But firstly, Australia is a huge independent market for the audiobook, and Australians like hearing other Australians. But also, this is quite bizarre really, our accent is popular internationally. So be natural, don't be embarrassed by your voice or your accent, just go for it. Also, a new movement is the concurrent release of an audio, paperback and ebook. Now, in the old days, which was even a couple of years ago, there was a lag on the audiobook. Now concurrent releases are the goal. So let me talk about how you're going to do this. I've hopefully convinced you. Let's now talk about how to record an audiobook and how to upload it. And remember, when I say audiobooks, you could be reading an article. Some audiobooks are 2 hours in length, some are 11 hours or more. But if you're ready to have a go, here's a quick and dirty version of how to record an audiobook. Firstly, use a Zoom recorder. The H2 Zoom will do the job. That's the entry level. The H6 is great. I use the H8. I'm using the H8 now. So Zoom is a goer. Get yourself a pop screen. About $10. Get yourself a pop screen. Then choose a location in your house to record that is carpeted. So you're looking for an environment that doesn't have these hard, bouncy surfaces. So a good, clean sound. Try and record a chapter in each session. Now, I record a chapter each morning at the same time and in the same location. So that means I sound the same, because our voice changes through the day. I sound the same, and it creates a continuity to that sound. And also remember, this will be very important in a sec, save each chapter as a separate file. Now, what I need you to do is focus on your posture, lengthen your neck, and think about your voice. Read the content with meaning and understanding and emphasis. Remember, these are your words. You own them. So claim them and read them with care so that you gain an audience. Okay, wow. So you've got yourself a raw recording. Now, buy Mixcraft. It's a very cheap bit of software, but it's tremendous. Edit it with care, very cleanly, take the time, provide 5 seconds of your room silence at the start and 5 seconds of the room silence at the end of the recording. The reason for this will be clear pretty shortly. But remember that editing may take 3 times or 4 times or 5 times as long as the actual recording itself. If you've read the work well without errors, it'll be fast. If you've made errors, then the editing time will be increased. Now, don't worry about that. The priority is to get the chapter clean, well edited and saved with care. Remember to read your chapter titles at the start. So, Chapter 1, then your title. Chapter 2, and then your title. So once you've edited your chapters into clean MP3s, saved as Chapter 1, Chapter 2, what are we going to do now? Okay, it gets fun now. You've edited saved files. You need the cover of a book in 2 formats. So square, like an Instagram picture, a 1-to-1 proportion, and the conventional cover size for a paperback. And Canva can do that job for you. Thanks for playing. They have a whole section of their application for the ebook and the audio book. Right, sound, vision, cool. Now the story splits depending where you are geographically as you're listening to my words. So for our students and friends in the United Kingdom, the United States and Canada, an enormous hello. You can use audible.com's upload service at www.acx.com, and all the specifications and the requirements are listed there. Don't be frightened or worried about the scale of the specs. Just record your file in the same place at the same time every day. Put the microphone about 12 to 15 centimetres from your mouth. Use a pop screen, speak normally, and that will create the file that you need. So if you live in the UK, US and Canada, work with Audible directly. Thanks for playing. Boom. But the story gets really interesting if, like much of the world, you don't live in the United Kingdom, United States or Canada. We can't upload directly to audible.com. But no fear. I've found a solution for us, and it is fabulous. The reason, by the way, we can't upload to audible.com is that we are not a US, UK or Canadian taxpayer. So here is the workaround. We're going to use an aggregator. This means a middleman, a middlewoman, a gatherer of content that disseminates it to all the audiobook companies, not just Audible. So let's use Authors Republic. www.authorsrepublic.com. Check out their specifications for audio files, which are identical to audible.com. You'll receive 70% of all money made on your audiobook, so upload each file, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Then Authors Republic takes all the files, checks them, and then they do a thing called stitching. They stitch them. So they use those silences that you've created through your recording and knit together an audiobook. It features that unbelievable ability. I love this. When we stop listening to a book, so after a gym session, after a drive to work, and you've got to a point of the book and you go, oh. And the great thing is this fantastic feature that when you press play again, it starts at exactly the same point that you left it. Terrific. So they stitch it up, they stitch it together, upload it to at least 15 different audiobook providers. To be honest, that's now expanding. It's argued by June 2024, so I'm recording this in March 2024, that when by June 2024 there's going to be over 50 audiobook providers around the world. You can see the expansion. And then you're good to go. Okay, how are you paid? Well, firstly, you need to open a PayPal account. Now, many of us had those years ago, but please create a PayPal account if you don't already have one. List yourself as a sole trader, like you would say on eBay, and you are paid directly into your account. Great. There's one more thing you have to do on Authors Republic, and that is fill in one form, which they provide a link for you, and that's to the US tax office. You just have to fill in a form and confirm you are not a US citizen, you do not pay US tax, and you are asked to list your tax number for your particular country. So in Australia, your tax file number. Then you are paid. Yay! Directly once a month from Authors Republic to your PayPal account, which deposits that money then into your bank account. And that is it. So, if you have an interesting piece of content, and remember, this is for our creative writers, our poets as well, your fiction can be read and uploaded. Or if you have an article that you really want to find a new audience, or a short book, or a monograph, you can do this. Get a recorder, get a pop screen, get Mixcraft, record, edit, upload. So if you want a little bit more training and support and assistance, and I'm always happy to do that, so ask me and I'll try and provide what you need. But for example, a training course on voice, technology, personal branding, my goodness me, then I recommend the training course that's created by Audible. And these courses are available at, and you'll love this URL, https://acxuniversity.com, acxuniversity.com, and there might be another slash there, so just try that. And yes, that is completely free to do. So let's do this. Let's make the world a better place. Let's find new audiences. Let's intervene and create brilliant citizenship. And we do that by sharing your brilliant ideas. So I look forward to being a part of our seminar when we can enable your audiobook future.